lovely, and welcome to the first in a brand new series of Freestyle TV. I'm joined here with Dan and PeGe, and every single month from now on we're going to be bringing you updates fresh from the scene all over the world. What's new, what's hot, what's coming up in the world of freestyle football. So today, for this first episode, we're going to firstly look back at some of the highlights in the opinions of Dan and PeGe of last year. What happened, what changed the sport. And then we're going to look forward to the Red Bull Street Style 2021. We've got some exclusive updates for you on that. We're then joined by Tobias, one of the leading freestylers in the community, and to learn about some new innovations in his product range for freestyle. We're going to look back into the history of freestyle to pick out one key moment that has inspired us. And also we're going to hear from Katerina and learn about her story, her inspiring story as to how she's succeeded and evolved with the sport of freestyle football. So without further ado, let's get straight into it today. And maybe PeGe, first of all, I want to hear from you. Give us something to look back on. What was the best moment for you in 2020?
Well, for me, 2020, not much did happen. I was working with the Red Bull Street Style and Super Bowl from home. So I wasn't really present in any freestyle occasions, but for me the best moment probably was the World Finals of Red Bull Street Style. Even I was at home, I was checking all the things and making sure everything's going good, and of course watching the battles, and I think the execution was really good. And then we had the remote after party, so on that moment I felt the most present in freestyle community last year.
Love it. Dan, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, PeGe said it already, 2020 was a bit of a strange year for everyone. Everyone was from home. But I think the highlight for 2020 for me was the fact that we kept it going. We were hit hard, there were no events, there were no performances. But the freestylers kind of going back to the core of it, like practicing at home. Because, you know what we say, all you need a ball, it's a bit of a cliche, but it's really true. You can just go at home, practice, do your thing. And we saw many videos of people practicing, focus on the thing that they love most. So for me, the highlight of 2020 was the fact that there was a lot of time to practice for everyone. And another small thing is that I really noticed is that a lot of the guys that maybe stopped in recent years because of, work, studies, whatever, they kind of came back to it and they picked up the ball again and started to practice. So yeah, I think every story has two sides, and the fact that we stayed strong as a scene and we kept on practicing was a true highlight for me.
Fantastic, thank you guys. For me, completely, again in agreement. There's some really special moments last year. I think the momentum was amazing to see people just want more. I remember a stat that you shared, Daniel, actually at one point in terms of the Google searches for freestyle football throughout the pandemic, throughout the lockdown. It's just natural that finally there's a real spotlight on freestyle because you can do it from home without the need of teachers and the resources. So that was awesome to see. So I think, the wider education, it felt for the first time in 10 years since we started this journey to try and professionalize freestyle, that people started to understand that this is an art, this is a sport as well, but it sits as a entity in its own right. It's not necessarily dependent on football, it's not dependent on any one other thing. It is a thriving community in its own right.
Also, if I can add something to that, I think it was great in a way that there was no football. Because there was no football, a lot of the people, companies that were looking for football related content, which kind of made us more popular because people, they love sports, but there were no sports, not on TV. So I think people were searching for it online. It was very clearly, I think, it gave us a lot of promotion, I think, so it was great.
Okay, thank you guys for that. So moving on to our next section, and today we're going to give you more info on what's happening in 2021 for Red Bull Street Style. So Daniel, over to you. Give us the headlines.
Yes, it's probably the most asked question from all freestylers around the world. Is Red Bull Street Style happening? Yes, it's happening, and yes, the final is going to be live. So this year we're going to Spain, Valencia. It will be in November, probably the third week of November somewhere. And it's going to be a little different than last year. Because last year, as we all know, we had one big pool with all the freestylers around the world competing together. So we had an unlimited amount of people from each country, and they were all together in one big pot. This year, it's slightly different. It's going to be a mix of different qualifications. Some countries will have a live qualification, so as they used to call it, an old school Red Bull Street Style. They will have a tournament organized by Red Bull. Some countries will have a national championships. So from the WFFA side, our team is organizing a local tournament, which means that only one per country goes to the next stage. We can explain a little bit later what those next stages are, but the idea is that every country has one person that qualifies to go further to the world final. With the exception, of course, of Super Bowl, which the winner also will go to the world final. So that means you can have a maximum of 2 people from one country. So there's going to be live qualifiers, and we're going to have online qualifiers. So if your country doesn't have the possibility to organize a live qualifier, then we're going to organize it through the WFFA app, the same as last year. But the difference is that it's each country on its own. So it's not everybody together in one big pot. It's one country, one tournament. So for example, Finland has its own tournament, Colombia has its own tournament, like that. So it's a mix of online and offline. And yeah, it's gonna be amazing, because I think like this, we give the most opportunity to the most amount of people. So it's basically everybody in the world that can enter. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Awesome. And just to pick up on that, because of course, like you said, there will be for the smaller countries who have a smaller community, they can all enter in a rest of the world competition online. So just to emphasize that.
Exactly.
And also, so not directly related to Red Bull Street Style, but also it's worth mentioning now, I think, that for all the under 16s out there, there will be also a tournament now to help the younger, the next generation come through. Which will also be launched later throughout the year. So there's really something for absolutely everyone this year coming up.
Exactly. I think especially, as you noticed, I forgot to tell, but the rest of the world is a great opportunities for the more unknown freestylers from maybe countries that don't have a lot of freestylers. So let's say if you're from Guatemala and there's only 4 or 5 guys, and you don't have enough to organize your own qualifier, you can go into this rest of the world competition and try to qualify, like that for the world final. So literally everyone that's over 16 can compete. And of course, I'm forgetting one thing: the females as well. PeGe can tell that.
Yeah, well, the females are in one big pot, and the level of female freestyle has grown so much. So it's going to be really interesting to see which are the 8 women who are going to qualify for the live finals. So it's not going to be easy for anyone. And what I was going to say, I'm excited about the live online qualifiers, because last year there were like kind of missions you had to do. There were different stages.
Yes.
This year, as I understood, it's going to be straight out battles within the app. So we freestylers, we always enjoy the battles, and I can't wait to see the first ones.
Yes, it's true actually. The thing is that to actual Spain, the top 16 men and the top 8 women, they will fly out to Spain to compete. But before they enter the world final, there's like a qualification stage. And with this I mean is that normally you have the group stages at the live event in previous world finals. This stage is online this year, because we don't want to have 60 people flying out to Spain from all countries in the world, maybe because of limitations with COVID. So this is also new, this extra qualification day, it's online. So it's a nice mix of the 2 worlds, like online, offline, put it all together, and we crown the world champion in the end.
Amazing, exciting times ahead, and yeah, the evolution of this event for the sport as a whole continues. If anyone has got any questions at any time about Red Bull Street Style in particular for this subject, please drop them in the comments box below and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And also, if you've got ideas or updates from your part of the world, please do share them with us, and maybe we can feature them in future editions of Freestyle TV. Okay, up next we are going over to our friend PeGe, and we're going to learn about some of the key moments in the history of freestyle. So, Blast from the Past is this section. PeGe, take it away.
Alright guys, so the blast from the past I prepared for you is related to one particular trick that was first done in 2012, and there was some twists to it that they didn't really change the history of freestyle, but the trick is called alternative Eldo Michi around the world. Do you, Daniel, remember when the Alt Eldo Michi came out for the first time?
To be really honest with you, no I don't, but I know you do, so you can tell me.
Yes, well I remember this day like it was yesterday. It was a Swedish guy, Emil Gaidemark, who posted the trick to YouTube on 1st of June of 2012. So of course this was the first alternative 3.5 rep trick that was done in freestyle. Alt Palle Michi came a bit later. And for you guys who don't know freestyle, we're gonna put the links to these videos and you'll understand how difficult of a trick it is. But anyways, for a brief moment, it was announced that okay guys, the first alternative 3.5 revolution trick in the world has been done by Swedish Emil Gaidemark. Of course, what followed was the natural debate if it's clean or not.
Yes, the classic.
Yeah. But once Ethan commented that this is clean, it's not perfect, but it's clean, then it was like settled. So this is clean trick and it's been done.
It's actually a typical thing that there's a few guys within the community that have like a big status, like you said, like Ethan and Luca and people like that. Or when it comes to uppers, it's Bango, and people always waiting for these people to comment, and they're like, oh, it's approved, like that.
Yeah, exactly. But the biggest lower legend at that time in 2012 was Pavel Skora. And on the same day, or the day after, he posted a video that was titled 26th of February 2012. And in this video, Pavel Skora did the same trick, alternative Eldo Michi around the world. And it turned out that Skora had done it months before Emil Gaidemark, but he was saving the clip for his new DVD. But when he saw that, there's a guy who posted and claimed that he done this trick for the first time in the world, Skora needed to come out with the trick and say that, okay guys, sorry, I've been hoarding this trick. And that's the blast from the past for this first episode of Freestyle TV.
It's nice. You know what it reminds me of a little bit? You remember the discussion of when Kevin from Brazil and PeGe from Hungary uploaded the Kevin around the world or PeGe around the world like on the same day?
Yes.
And they had to prove like on the computer what was the date they created the file, and still after today like there's still discussion about who did it first and if it was clean, and it's a typical freestyle discussion.
Yeah, that is like the freestyle professor kind of things, and I might feature those things in the future episodes, so stay tuned.
I love it. That's exactly what we want from this section, so be ready to see more blast from the past, but also we're hopefully going to demystify some of the things that have happened over the years, and bring you the fresh news first as well, so set the trends for the future. Thank you, PeGe. Okay, and moving on to the next section, I was fortunate enough to catch up with Katerina Karali in Greece recently. I wanted to ask her a few questions about her freestyle journey, her story. So here's what we found out. Katerina, thank you so much for joining me here today. How are you doing?
I'm going great. Thanks for your invitation.
No worries, no worries. How is life there in Greece for you at the moment? What's happening?
At the moment, due to coronavirus, we're still in lockdown almost a year. So it's a little bit tough to be outside the most of the day.
Hard for training, right?
Yes, exactly. We have to send a message to be outside just for specific hours. We're not allowed to be many hours outside.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, again, thank you for joining me today. What I wanted to uncover and to sort of educate more people about was really a bit more of your story, the kind of things that you're involved with now, because I know you're helping a lot behind the scenes for the female freestyle community as well. So it gives us a chance to inspire some more people, hopefully some more girls especially, to pick up a ball and get into this sport. So yeah, thank you once again. Let's start at the beginning. So let's go back to how you got involved. You know, what inspired you to start freestyle originally?
From Sofiane to Zani, it was the first video he had uploaded on YouTube. But before that, I used to play football. After a few years, I stopped training football. I wanted to find another sport, including the football. So I found out the video of Sofiane to Zani on YouTube. And from that day, I decided to take my ball and go outside and start training.
Fantastic. And but you had not an easy time, let's say, because I was reading some of your updates in the last few years, and we of course did a lovely feature on World Freestyle Day last year with you. You've had some pretty bad injuries, right, along the way. So how was, you know, what happened and how did you overcome those?
Yes, I had a knee injury. It was from when I was playing football, but due to I had some wrong doctor diagnosis, so it took me almost 2 years to find out what was the main problem. And after that, I wasn't able to practice freestyle. My knee was swelling all the time after training, and it was tough sometimes. Even if I wanted to run or walk, it was pain a lot.
Difficult and frustrating, I can imagine as well.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. And then, so, but you managed to, because the treatment wasn't cheap either, I guess.
Yes, it was around 1,300 euros.
Right.
And I want to thanks the freestyle community, because they helped me to collect all the amount of money, because I create a campaign, and the biggest amount of the money collected by freestylers.
That's amazing. So people from all over the world, I guess.
Yes, exactly. From all over the world, they helped me to get all this money and do my surgery.
Amazing inspiration. That's exactly what, you know, we try to, or we hope that the family feeling of the community is real, and that's a great example of how.
Yes, exactly. We are like a freestyle family from all over the world.
Yeah, fantastic, great. And then, and competitively though, so for your, you know, your experiences so far, where have you competed in the sport? You've been to Super Bowl, right?
Yes, I've been to Super Bowl in 2018.
Yeah.
It was my first time competing in such a high level, and I was feeling amazing that I met all the freestylers. I was watching the videos from YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and it was like an honor for me to meet them.
Great. And now, you know, your role. So as I mentioned at the start, I'm very familiar with the amount of work you're doing, but maybe for the benefit of everyone who doesn't see, they just see Instagram updates or news updates. Tell us now, within Greece, first of all, what's the community like? Because you're leading, you're the representative of Greece, right? What's involved? How big's the community? What are the challenges to growing freestyle in Greece?
At the moment, we are around 20 to 25 freestylers.
Okay.
Most of the people are boys. We're trying to grow the community by creating some mini events or some meetings that they're coming some other kids who doesn't know freestyle. So we're doing our best to help our community.
Fantastic to hear. And for the girls in particular, what do you think are the ways? What could we do more to try and inspire more girls to get into freestyle in the future?
I think here in Greece, it's a little bit difficult for girls to start training freestyle because they are more into football. So I think it will be more difficult to try to attract them to start the sport.
Patience, I think, over time. Yeah, excellent. And then you're also one of the admins behind the We Are Female Freestylers page on Instagram,
Exactly.
Which you'll see the link below this video later. How's that been? How was that experience? And do you find it a challenge, or is it enjoyable to be posting about the female
scene? To be honest, I find it enjoyable because every day we're watching more girls from all over the world to start freestyle, and that's amazing because I think a few years ago the community wasn't so big for females.
Yeah, it's great to see. It really is. There's definitely more and more coming. So, no, your work is awesome, and it's really appreciated. So thank you. Brilliant. Well, just as a final note, then, as a word of inspiration, let's talk about the values and what freestyle means to you now, for the future as well. Is there any last words that you would like to say about what freestyle means to you in general?
Well, freestyle for me, I think, is a way to express yourself because you create your own tricks, you meet people that you share the same passion, and that makes me to have more motivation to continue. Even I do freestyle 9 years now, and in Greece it's still not very well known, but I still have that motivation and I want to take it to the next step.
Amazing. Keep going because we're extremely inspired by you. So well done, and thank you so much for your time today.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Okay, up next, we are delighted to welcome the one and only Mr. Tobias Becs to the table. Thanks for joining us, Tobias, here today. Good to see you as always.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys. It's exciting.
Well, we hear you've got some exciting news, and obviously we've seen some recent updates. So the purpose really was to learn a bit more about you and what's going on in the world of freestyle. So Daniel, take it away.
Hi, Tobias. What's up, man?
All good.
So what's happening in your life right now?
With me right now, it's basically lockdown. So we just got a new message that we had to close down completely. We right now I'm standing inside of Off-Pitch or Oslo Street Football Center, and it's been a bit challenging on and off. Been able to have the center open for kids at least, but now it's completely shut down. And it's been like that during the whole winter. But it's also been kind of good because then we have had time to focus on some of the launches for freestyle. So even though it's been a tough time, it's been good to focus more on freestyle for some change, because the last few years I've been traveling a lot and haven't been able to really put my mind into the brand as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, that actually makes sense, because we were actually talking about it before on the call that if we were talking about the highlights of 2020 and, we were chit-chatting a bit about everything that's happened recently, I think there's a good side of it as well. Like everybody's more focused, there's more time to train. In your case, maybe, time to spend on your company. So yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, I think the traveling also takes some of the focus away somehow.
Yeah, and I think it's, we can focus on the negative sides, and there's a lot of negative things happening right now, but it doesn't really help. And I remember when I first got the message about what was happening, I was just thinking, how can I use this for my advantage? And always looking for opportunities. And it's the same when you get an injury when you're freestyling. Like instead of complaining about the injury, then you can start training other stuff that doesn't really affect your injury, so you can get better at other areas of your freestyle.
Fair enough. I was thinking the other day, like when you look back at, let's say, the last 10 years, you've done many things. First, you were just training lowers basically, then you became all-round freestyler, competing, then you started a company. Many things happened. Is that a plan, or did it just went like that?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure if I really have thought that too much through, but of course you have goals and dreams. So whenever when you start off with freestyle, I didn't start off with the intention of becoming the best in the world or winning competitions. It was just because it was a lot of fun and I wanted to learn new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
But then that opened up new doors, which let you see new opportunities, and then you start to set new goals, like competing. You want to do better in competition. So I think it's a gradual thing. And the same with businesses and stuff like that. The reason why I started for freestyle was basically because nobody made quality gear for freestyle, and I was like, how can I get shoes? How can I get balls that I really want? Nobody's making them. And then that started the process, and then gradually it just developed. So it's not like you have, you can set yourself crazy big goals, and I think that can be good, but you also need to make them possible to actually achieve, and then you need to put smaller goals and that is actually achievable within a time period that is not too long, so you can keep motivated and also just do it for the right reason.
That's a good one. Do it for the right reason. I think that's the case with everything you do, like it's normal. And I'm wondering, like, when it comes to for freestyle right now, is it that you have like some kind of long-term planning? Is it like, okay, now you released a new shoe, we can talk about it later, but like, and then you think, like, okay, and then I will do something more about the clothes, and then I will do this and this in the next 2 years, or it doesn't work like that?
I wish it was more like that, because you see big brands, planning 2 years ahead, and they have like a new collection, drawing it up, and it's not going to be launched until 2 years from now. But for me, it's kind of like not random, but it seems like it might be really planned, but sometimes it's just happening 1 month or 2 months before, or you were really quick, like I got a really cool design, and then the factory is able to make it really quickly, and it's like, oh, okay, we can launch it already. Yes. Or it can take a long time, because for example, the new shoes and the new material that we developed, I was like, oh, I just want to do this and that, and then they, it's not as easy as you think, and then they start to look for just the research, and everything can be really, really overwhelming and hard. So that's something I learned, that I don't want to say anything too early, because you never know if it's going to be 1 month or 3 years for a product to launch.
Yes, makes sense. Yeah, it does sound, it does seem like you organize it well, so you're doing a pretty good job in hiding it.
Yeah, thank you.
Confidence,
yeah, but also
everything.
Yeah, but when you don't have a team of experts that know a lot about this stuff, you kind of find out on your own, and then you pretend like you're an expert. I'm not saying that the products are not good or anything like that, but it's more when it comes to marketing. I feel like that's something I'm good at, so I know how to showcase the product in the best way, and to get the the features that we have been developed and worked on quite quickly. So we don't need 3, 4, 5 months. Of course, sometimes it could be good to have a team that helps out and figure out how we should market this the best way. But sometimes it just works out that me and Tommy just, that's a cool background, let's do it there, and then let's name the product this and that, and then we kind of make this hype. But people should also know that it is a lot of hard work behind each product. So it might look simple to launch something like that, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes.
I have actually a question about the product development, because I remember actually multiple occasions when I've talked with you about for freestyle and the plans for the future, and you always say that you need the profit that you make, you always need for developing the products. And I must say this new Z shoe, it looks pretty advanced if you compare it to the 3 previous models of 4 freestyle shoes. And what I always think somehow is like, because you say that you get feedback and you try to develop the products according to the feedback, but on the other hand, you're European champions, vice world champion. You were holding the Amat no touch world record at one point. So I will always think like, don't you have enough of clue how to develop the product yourself, or what is about gathering the feedback from other people?
Definitely, and that's the main part of developing the products. That's my own knowledge. But I've also learned that freestyle football and street football as well, since we make shoes for street football as well, we are so different. And even in football, we have so many different boots, and we don't really have that. But I see that freestylers, they like different things, and some people, lowers is so different from blocking moves and stuff like that, and we have different preferences. So it's always good to get feedback. If not, you're just stuck in one loop, and then you make shoes for only one type of freestyler, and that's people that do the same as me. So you have to be open-minded, and sometimes we make shoes that I don't even personally would use. Of course I could use them, but it's not the the best shoes for me, because I'm not only making shoes or gear for me, but I'm making it for the whole community. And that's why this is not for freestyle, it's not merch. It's not like Tobias Becs brand or anything. This is a brand for the community, by the community. So if more people tell me that this is important with the shoes and I disagree, my voice is of course going to be stronger than a lot of others. But if there's a lot of people and freestylers wanting this, then I have to listen to them, because that's what the community want. And if we don't, they don't want to buy it, and then the brand can't develop more. And so it's you have to think long term and not only think about yourself, because then the brand will die.
Yeah. Actually, my follow-up question was that, do you ever feel that you come blind to your own products? Because I can imagine only how much time you spend thinking how to make this better, and sometimes I feel trying to develop something, you feel like, okay, this is good enough, but then do you ever get the feeling that now I just definitely need someone else's opinion on this?
Yeah, I always feel that I need somebody else's opinion, but I also feel that one of my I think it could be a strength, but is that I'm a really bad salesman. I'm really bad at selling stuff. I'm so bad, and the reason for that is not only with my own product, is that I see the mistakes and the bad things about the product. So even though it might be really good and the new shoes are really good, I already see things that could be better. But and most of the times I don't know how to figure out how to make it better, and then I try to do more research. So I'm always if you meet me in person, I'm not like, oh, you should buy this. This is the best product ever. Because
No.
I don't feel like it is. I feel like it can always be better. So I might be good at marketing and I like marketing the product and I'm proud of it. But if I'm standing there as a salesman and going to sell it, I might not be the right person because I don't believe as much in the product because I think that it can always be better. And I'm probably in the process of making another new, hopefully better product.
Is that a bit almost that you approach it as doing a no-touch combo? Like if you've done 27, you're thinking, oh, but I was going for 30. So 20, even if 27 or whatever, I don't know the world record, but if it's 27, you're thinking, yeah, maybe it's a bit the same approach. That you're always striving for more.
Yeah, but that's what I've been doing with no touch as well. Like when I'm trying to beat my record, like my record is 32 or 31 without the first one, and I'm always trying to think either that when I'm in the no touch combo that I'm counting two numbers lower, or that I'm just trying to put in my mind that I'm gonna make 35, let's say 35, because then I'm not gonna get that nervous, or when I get close to 32, because I know that I need to have 35. So I'm always trying. It's not always working, but I'm trying to do it to always push yourself a bit further.
How many could you do right now? How's your shape? 10?
Right now, definitely 10, no problem. But
okay.
I think 15 to 20 if I just put in the work. But
Yes.
like this winter has been really tough for me, and it's been one of the hardest. It's been so much stress because of the center and everything happening. So I haven't been training as much as I want to, and I haven't had the same energy. So I've been doing a lot of other like handstand stuff, and that doesn't really need that much of stamina. But I really want to get back into my lower shape, but I think it's gonna take some time.
Yeah, well, I mean, at some point you have to pick something as well, because a day only has so many hours, and
that's the thing. Yeah, you have to prioritize.
Interesting. So how important is Tommy for freestyle?
Is really important, and the same with Jonathan as well, helping out. Like we are a big team. I'm the one, creating the brand strategy, and you already heard how I'm doing that, just a bit random here and there. But trying to develop the product, stuff like that. But creating quality content, and Tommy is really talented when it comes to creating content. All you guys have seen that, and it definitely helps out. And also not only that, but his energy and the way he is, like he's such a positive guy, always want to do stuff, and it really helps me, especially when I'm like, I can be a bit focused and think too much about a few stuff, but then he just brightens it up and he makes the situation more fun. And he's such a great guy to have on the team, and we've been working together for so long now. And Jonathan as well, like he really likes this center. He has started to train more tech ball than freestyle, which is sad for some, but he's definitely going to get back into freestyle as well. But he's helping out, and he wants to develop the community, in Norway. And just like him as well, like he just comes in here with support and new ideas. And I've been working a lot for myself, up throughout the years, but it's nothing compared to like now when I can talk to people, and we work so well as a team. It's really important to develop anything at all.
It's funny you mentioned Jonathan, because with Jonathan I always have the feeling that his potential is so much higher than what comes out. Every time I see him at Super Bowl competitions, I always think, dude, this guy's so good. Like his soles and his sits are absolutely perfect.
That's the thing, like whenever we train together, he's like, a lot of the times I'm like, you're better than me. Like,
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
But then when we get into a battle, I always beat him. Like it's impossible to lose because he doesn't get his full potential out on stage.
Yeah.
But I also think it has a bit with the mindset to do. And now when it comes to tech ball, he kind of have a bit different mindset, and it's not, you know, it doesn't feel that much of a pressure because this is a new sport. He's having more fun, but he's also allowing himself to think that I can actually be the number one in the world, which he probably didn't think before, because he was always like, oh, if I get this far, I'll be happy because I'm not better than him. And then you kind of put limits on yourself, and that, I don't think that helps when you're training the whole year, because you kind of put this mental block to your trainings.
Do you play tech ball yourself?
No, actually not so much. I have been training a little bit, but especially I just it's been hard to even practice freestyle football the last 8 months because of too much other stuff happening. So whenever I have time, I prioritize freestyle, and it's a bit different now than before, because before I was, you know, I've always tried to prioritize my trainings over work and stuff like that. That's been really hard, but it's also been, you know, I want to become better and learn new tricks. But lately, or the last 6 to 8 months, it's been more focusing, or even maybe actually even a year, it's been more just to get a break from everything else, just like to calm down, do something different, and just be a bit creative and just play around. So I haven't been like really pushing my freestyle too much, but it's been more a break, and it's been really important for me to have that.
Maybe so it's also because you have a bit more pressure because of, you know, the center being closed, and, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
You have a rent to pay and things like that. You have like, oh, I hope we're gonna open soon and things like this.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot of stress from many different places, and it's been quite tough. And then it's definitely good to have freestyle, and I see how important exercise is for my mental health. And I had some problems in the autumn with my leg, so I wasn't able to practice at all. And when you then have all this stress and you can't really get any place where you can get it out and do something active, that was really, really tough. So that definitely made me appreciate, you know, having freestyle in my life. And that's why I also try to prioritize it, even though it's not hardcore lowers all the time, but it can be just playing around with the music in my ear and just enjoying it.
I feel that 100%, the joy of freestyling, not like pushing it, but enjoying it.
Yeah, it's important.
Hey, I wanted to ask about, like, I don't know how much you follow the freestyle scene. Of course, probably every freestyler follows it somewhat a lot. But what do you think? Like, who are the currently the bright stars for the future? Everyone knows Erlend and Ricardinho and their level, but do you like ever pick out some freestylers that you see that are really promising in future?
Yeah, I do try to look at, you know, the new up and coming scene, and to see, you know, if there's new potential talents. And I do see, I've been following the Japanese community for a little while and check them out, and I see a lot of creative new freestylers there. Hard to remember any names right now, but you should have prepared me. Because, but there's I definitely see a lot of new young talents, but also feel like, you know, it's hard to really know who's going to be the best ones, because, you know, like Erlend, he wasn't really the best in the beginning, and then when you look at his, you know, athletics and stuff like that, you know, big clunky legs in the beginning, you know, didn't really make sense that he was going to be the best, but then suddenly it kicked in. And then you have other freestylers that I've looked at that I've thought have a huge potential and looks really, really good, but then they kind of just stop there. And then, just like you said with Jonathan, like, he has a huge potential, but it's also, if you're looking into competitions, at least the mental aspect is really important. And it depends how you know, Ireland has been training a lot and preparing for competitions, which have prepared him mentally, but also he's like ready to go on stage. But then you have other freestylers like Luca, which is insane, and he's also good on stage, but he's more, you know, like pushing limits outside of the battle feel as well.
Yeah, and he has a brother that helps so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, that's true.
Actually, it's the same thing there. I think Brynjar has more potential than Arlen, in theory. But somehow on stage, it's always a bit, the coin goes the other way. Like, yeah.
No, but I agree, and I thought, you know, Brynjar was the one going to really become like or be the one that won most titles, and it still might happen. You never know. But
Yeah, it can still happen.
yeah, but then it's like you see, like he has a huge potential, but then Ireland doesn't drop the ball, and he's so secure on stage. So it's so many aspects, so it's really hard to find out. And I think being a talent scouter in the freestyle community can be really tough. But that's the case with you know, all sports, because they can be really talented, but then the mental aspects and everything has to click. So
The mental aspects, you mean they discover beer and girls?
yeah, that's one part. Yeah.
That's a bit of a deal breaker sometimes.
It is definitely, yeah. No, but I think it's like you said, as one last thing, like you said, with Brynjar and Arlen being brothers, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start off pitch and to create centers like this, where you can. It's hard to open a center where it's only about freestyle football, but taking in, you know, I think we also should be more open to all alternative football games and trying to incorporate them, because that's also a way for us, not, you know, only picking or getting new freestylers from football, but getting them from, you know, the interest of tech ball or street football, you know, other stuff, and trying to create a community locally in many different cities, so you have a place where you can meet like-minded people and be inspired, because we don't really have too many of those places.
No, it's like an urban vibe.
Yeah, it's important.
I like that you put a basketball thing in just to can do your basket trick shots.
Yeah, that was only for me. Only for me.
I must say that when the first pictures from the off-pitch Oslo came out, I was like, oh my god, that is a paradise, because I played tech ball, I played Pana, I played street football, I played freestyle, of course. And in Freestyle Finland, we've been thinking that, you know, freestyle is freestyle and no one can take it away from us. But there are like-minded people who are not maybe so much into freestyle, but they like these tech ball games and all football-related games that are not exactly football. And I just love the idea bringing those together in one place. And of course, then the pandemic came, and I thought I'll never get to go to the off-pitch Norway, but it's on my bucket list for sure.
Yeah, you definitely should come. And just like you said, it's about being open-minded. And I think too many small sports can be, you know, stuck in that niche and being, you know, this is freestyle and we shouldn't, you know, welcome anybody else. But then you kind of like, you don't open up for anybody to be introduced to the sport. So, you know, even, you know, people like Sean or the F2 and freestylers that we, you know, especially the F2 that we don't look at as freestylers, they're actually helping out the sport in a big way. So we should be thankful. We just need to, you know, realize that we can structure the sport and show how this you know, core sport really is. But then we also need people that are mixing it with other sports and areas of life to introduce people to the sport.
We mentioned it, you know, you've just launched this new product. Could you put your best sales hat on, having said that you don't sell very well? Tell us all about it. So what makes this product so unique? How's this going to stand out in the market?
First, I want to say that it's definitely not the best product that we're going to make. Just to put that out there. I'm really proud and happy about this new shoe, and it started off back, actually many years ago. You know, trying to look into how to improve. To get the same feel of, you know, a mesh shoe, because the biggest problem that we have had since we launched, even before we launched the Explore One shoes, looking at other shoes and the fabrics they used, some shoes, you know, had the problem of the outsole being too not strong enough. So when you're freestyling on rough concrete, there can be holes in the soles. But then other shoes like the mesh shoes, that might also be a problem, but the first problem is actually the mesh material actually, getting breakdown and then ending up in you having to buy new shoes. So, I looked into different kind of materials, and we made Explore knit shoes, which was stronger, but it didn't have the same touch and softness as the mesh material. Then we made suede shoes, which was better and got a bit softer touch, but we made it with a thicker heel, so it would be better for some freestylers that prefer that, and also street football players, which, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of. So I would definitely like to see us making a suede shoe without the thick heel. But then all the time I always looked into how can we improve this mesh material, and I've been looking into different kind of mesh materials, seeing big brands, especially Asics, for example, making some really nice mesh materials, but it's been so hard to find that mesh material because that's custom made by them and they don't want anybody else to use it. And then trying to rip it off by trying to find their factory, that's really not going to work, and it's not a fair way of doing it. So I started looking into what it would take to develop your own fabric. And then I also found out that it was really hard, and you have to make, a lot more when it comes to, the fabric itself, and making samples was really hard because you're combining materials, and it's really costful. So it took a long time. And in 2018, I was in China the last time. That was the first time I got the sample of this material that we're using now. And I was really happy with it, but I didn't know how it would work out. So we had to test it out. And from then on until now, we also made a few changes. It's just been, combining different fabrics, and trying to, and also working with experts that know how to, put together, because the way they are waved together has a lot to say about the strength, but then again also the way they are have been washed and handled and stuff like that makes them softer or stiffer, and there's been a lot of back and forth. So it's been a long process, and then also while traveling a lot I haven't been able to follow up on it because we needed to create other shoes because we run out of the shoes we already had. And then I had to start one production. Then we didn't have enough money to, keep on this project. And then it's just been like on and off all the time. And then finally now I got more time to actually look into it and prioritize it. So yeah, it's a custom made mesh material, and it is stronger. But I'm also, very curious to see, because it's mainly me that have been testing it. Jonathan have been testing it a bit, Tommy, but nobody else. I haven't sent it out to anybody else. And I'm just curious to see how people feel about the new shoes, and if they, not only about the durability, but also the touch and feel, because that's so important for freestylers.
So there's a lot of other companies making shoes, making products. Like, do you follow this very closely, and how do you try to, to stay ahead of competition? Is it by developing your own stuff, or like, what's your opinion about this?
Of course I do follow them and I see what they're doing, but I'm not obsessed with it, because I also realize that when you look too much into that, this also is an aspect when I'm looking into developing balls, for example. If I look too much into other products, it's really easy to just get into that loop, and then you create the same product basically. But of course I'm really happy that there's more brands making better gear for freestylers, because we can't make gear for absolutely everyone. So some people would like swirl shoes, or even now the footwork shoes, and ASUN as well. It's really great that they are creating more products, because then that's what I would have wanted when I started freestyle, to have those opportunities to choose. Like you before you could only choose a few different shoes, and it was made for football. So it's really good, but of course, it's also competition, but that's like we have spoken about before, Daniel. It just drives me, and I want to do more and better.
Yes.
So I think it's good for everyone, because we need to show that you can't just make a product, put it out there, and then pretend like it's good, because the community will definitely tell you if it's not. And if you then have other options, they will definitely choose the other option that is better. So it's better for the community, and it's also better for us, because we get pushed into actually creating quality products.
Makes sense. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I think we can wrap up this session. It's been really great having you on here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your visions as well. For all the newbies out there, newcomers onto the scene, I think we can safely say that you will be doing his research. Not just Tobias, but many others are looking out for the next inspiration and to get your feedback. So please do post any questions here, and either Tobias himself or his team, or we shall get back to you with a response. Maybe you want to see something in the next product, so come forward with all your ideas, and we'll make sure that it's flagged up with for Freestyle HQ. So thanks for your time, Tobias. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, guys.